All right, thank you.
Yes, of course.
This one is from Chad to you, Ardif. Chad says, "You have my permission to read my entire energy spectrum. Love and light to you all. In a recent DMT experience, I met an entity that introduced itself as Lucifer. As soon as I exhaled, I was cast out into the end of what seemed to be our solar system. Once I got there, I was confronted or abruptly stopped by a containment field that identified itself as Lucifer. It showed itself as the upside down pentagram and then expanded those lines times a trillion out and around our cosmos. It then expressed me that it was in total command of every breath, every movement and every thought, and every finger flick I do throughout every day. It also expressed to me that I had been doing this for several thousand lifetimes, and I actually vocalized the words, 'Let me out of this loop,' while during this trip period my hands were also conducting many different patterns as my body seemed to contort. Since this happened, I have been shown several things involving the Masonic Bible and how they are trying to achieve light, but the light bearer is Lucifer. Why was I shown this, or what does it mean? Love, then light to all of you."
Yes, of course. First of all, you are perceiving an archetypal energy through great symbolism and the construct of reality in its own purpose. For example, as you are perceiving entity that gives you the construct of Lucifer. Many humans perceive Lucifer as the antithesis of the energy that is biblical in nature and is part of the evil called against God and against his wishes. Others perceive it as demonic entity that wishes to bend against your free will and create evil for you. Most of you understand who are here. The good and evil that exist are relative per human mind. One person who believes marriage is appropriate with monogamy and sees lack of monogamy as very evil or vile is against the construct of this. As someone who participates in having multitude of lovers and multitudes of partners would look at that with one and say that this is an evil, and of course not an evil in the term, but a disconnected form of consciousness. Lucifer represents in the energetic archetype that in which releases you from the design of the religious construct, that which releases you from Yahweh and his rules, that which releases you from must abiding through these rules or be damned permanently. In that way, those entities perceive Lucifer as a positive symbol or a construct. Now, in Lucifer itself, we have multiple things that we could share, but we will keep the construct in simplicity, sake for purpose of understanding the greater dream. The Lucifer also represents a tie and link to the earth collective consciousness, cast from the heavens down to earth, brought only to be the master of the realm of earth and no other. This construct is relative to the incarnation cycles. Many humans who are Gnostic and many humans who are through what some humans call mysticism Christianity believe that they are in a system with archons and archons and that these entities are the goods and bads of creation. And those that are archons steal your soul essence, focus into a false light, and then recycle your soul for their own purpose. Of course, this is not true. The incarnation cycle, in the way that it works, runs from free will. Of course, there are multiple entities at a higher dimensional that can try to manipulate your self after leaving your physical body. They can try to get you into creating more incarnation cycles. These entities run their own incarnations diversion from sources of energy such as fear, disconnection. If they try to make you go back into the earth collective consciousness instantly after you have left your physical body, you will have not reintegrated with high enough form fractal consciousness, which gives you the lack of understanding of why you are incarnating. This has occurred with human beings who psychically remembered their in-between incarnations. This led them to create a system of energy that fears reincarnation, that fears the light. The truth is that if you ignore the entities that would appear to you after your physical life is ended, and felt intuitively what beings that you are drawn to, simply living your excitement dictates that you will only co-create with those that are most purposeful and meaningful for you. So working with that energy, the same as you work with earth, find what attracts you, cast out what does not. This is an appropriate step upon exiting the physical body. It gives you the opportunity to not need co-creation with those entities that would try to manipulate or trick you. Also, you are perceiving the matrixy, physical reality altogether. Some souls understand that they are reincarnating over and over, and again, without time between incarnations. There becomes a frustration, and they desire to leave the physical matrix. But the energy in incarnation cycles will be complete, and if they simply stopped incarnating, then of course they would re-enter the integrated part of their higher fractal consciousness, which gives them the greatest opportunity to perceive the reasons that we incarnate in the first place. And those are to experience what cannot be experienced in source energy, the manipulation of one's self to believe that they are not one, the energy inside of the human consciousness, which knows its unlimited nature in physical reality, can only know this once they understand their unlimited nature in non-physical consciousness. And the integration process is the circle outside of the solar system or the cosmos. That is the bubble that does not let you stop reincarnating. The fact is, it is not uncomfortable to reincarnate, even if you are in the worst planet of the solar system, of the entire galaxy, or of the entire universe, because it is not about having a bad experience or limited over and over and over. It is about each incarnation giving a new experience. And of course, we're not joining your higher fractal consciousness enough, it will be perceived as negative if you have had many challenging lifetimes before. We thank you for this.
Thank you.